Welcome to Secrets Buried in Time, where history's darkest mysteries rise again from the dust of forgotten years. Tonight, we journey back over 3 centuries to a time when fear ruled over reason and faith was twisted into a weapon. This is the story of Salem, a quiet Puritan village that turned against itself in a storm of hysteria, superstition, and blood. A place where neighbors became accusers and innocence was buried beneath the weight of fear. It began quietly, with whispers. In the bitter winter of 1692, the small Massachusetts village of Salem stood frozen under a cold gray sky. Inside the parsonage of Reverend Samuel Parris, 2 young girls, Betty Parris, age 9, and her cousin, Abigail Williams, age 11, began to act strange. They screamed, shook, and claimed invisible hands were choking them. They said they saw ghosts, witches, spirits sent by the devil himself. In a town where the Bible ruled every breath, this was no sickness, this was evil. And just like that, the spark was lit. Word spread fast. Salem was small, but gossip traveled faster than the wind. Who had cursed the girls? Who was serving the devil in disguise? When fear takes hold, it doesn't need proof. It needs someone to blame. And so began one of the darkest chapters in American history, the Salem Witch Trials. The accused were often the weakest: widows, beggars, slaves. The first was Tituba, a woman enslaved by Reverend Parris, brought from Barbados. Under harsh questioning and torture, she confessed, said she had seen the devil and others who served him. She named names. That single confession unleashed a nightmare. Suddenly, every argument, every strange illness, every misfortune became witchcraft. Sarah Good, poor and homeless. Sarah Osborne, old and sick. Bridget Bishop, bold and outspoken. Each woman became a symbol of evil, not because of proof, but because of fear. When Bridget stood before the judges, her fate was sealed before she could speak. Her red dress was called the mark of sin. In June 1692, she was hanged at Gallows Hill, the first of 19 souls. The trials grew like a plague. The courtroom overflowed with terror and accusation. The judges, convinced they were defending God's kingdom, accepted spectral evidence, meaning a dream, a vision, or a claim that someone's spirit appeared at night. Imagine that, being condemned to death because of someone's nightmare. By summer, the hangings had become a grim routine. Gallows Hill stood silent, except for the creak of ropes and the prayers of the doomed. Men and women were dragged through the dirt, bound and broken, to face the noose. Among them was Giles Corey, an elderly farmer who refused to plead guilty or innocent. To force a confession, they laid heavy stones on his chest, each one pressing the life out of him. His final words were only 2: more weight. He died that day, unbroken, a man crushed but undefeated. As the executions continued, Salem changed. The air itself felt poisoned by fear. Children accused their parents. Friends turned on one another. Ministers spoke of God's justice while innocent lives vanished into the cold earth. Those who confessed to witchcraft were spared. Those who claimed innocence were hanged. It was madness disguised as faith. By autumn, over 200 people had been accused. The prisons overflowed, disease spread, and still the trials continued. But whispers of doubt began to rise. Some started to question whether the devil was really at work, or whether the people of Salem had become their own demons. When the governor's own wife was rumored to be accused, the truth could no longer be ignored. Governor Phipps dissolved the special court, ending the madness. But it was too late. 20 lives lost, dozens more destroyed, and a town forever haunted. Years later, Salem tried to heal. Judges begged forgiveness. Families demanded justice. In 1702, the trials were declared unlawful. In 1711, the colony offered restitution to the victims' families, but no apology could undo the horror. What had begun as faith had ended in fear. What had begun as truth had drowned in hysteria. Centuries have passed, but the name Salem still echoes with unease. Today, tourists walk the cobblestone streets and visit the memorials, reading the names carved in stone. At night, the air grows colder, and some say you can still hear whispers, the voices of those wronged calling out through time. Maybe it's superstition, or maybe, in a way, Salem never truly ended, because the witch hunts didn't vanish, they only changed form. Fear still lives among us, it simply wears new faces, and when faith turns blind, when fear becomes truth, when judgment replaces reason, the witch trials begin again in different ways, in different times. So when you hear of Salem, remember this. It wasn't witches that destroyed the town. It was people. People who let fear become justice and rumor become truth. That's the real curse, and it still follows us. This is the story of Salem, 1692, where faith and fear collided, and reason was the
If you want to uncover more mysteries like this, secrets that history tried to bury, stay with us. Follow Secrets Buried in Time and join us as we dig deeper into the shadows of the past. Like, comment, and subscribe, because some stories refuse to stay buried.